Sports Center all night. The U.S. women's national team meets the Netherlands in a pivotal match.
With the second half we have, we're a little disappointed that I don't think we put 1, 2, 3 in the net.
A Texas-sized showdown has the AL West lead on the line.
We've got some jawing, and now we've got some guys clearing out of the dugouts, and how about this? The benches have cleared.
The Giants continue to hand out new contracts.
It's a blessing for my family. My kids that I don't even have yet, but I'm excited for it and excited to be here for a while.
The latest on Aaron Judge's expected return to play.
I wouldn't rule anything out, but, I think we're kind of taking it day by day.
Plus, Aaron Rodgers, Stephon Diggs, and more sound off at training camp.
I'm having a blast, so I don't really see this as a one-year-and-done thing.
This is Sports Center all night.
If you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, there are friendship bracelets, and I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it. Not right now.
Your number's in 87 or your phone number?
You know which one.
Here's Chris Sylvester.
It is great to have you with us as we get ready to recap a busy Wednesday and preview what's coming next. Another Pac-12 program may be moving on. We'll fill you in on what Colorado is thinking about doing next. Plus, a big night on the pitch as the U.S. women's national team played its second World Cup match this summer, and the latest on NFL contracts and training camp. Welcome to Sports Center All Night, presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Chris Sylvester. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80 is where you can find us. And we start with a busy Wednesday slate in Major League Baseball. Now, the trade deadline less than a week away. Already a few moves made this week, but the biggest name being tossed around the rumor mill is reportedly staying put. That's right. The Angels intend to hold on to Shohei Ohtani ahead of next week's trade deadline. The Halos currently sit 3 games over 500 and just 3 games out of the loss column for the third AL wildcard spot. Why this decision and why now? Angels athletic reporter Sam Blum can't really figure it out.
I don't agree with the process they've taken here, to be honest with you. Why now? They have a week. I mean, not a full week. They have about 6 days. But really, they have 6 games right now in between the deadline and where things stand at the time of this decision. And they could have waited. I mean, they have 3 games against the team that they're chasing for the third wild card. So a lot. I mean, I was just looking at this. They could theoretically be in a playoff position at the deadline, or they could be as much as 9 games out. So to me, making this decision right now and to basically leak it and publicize it, it's confusing because they have an opportunity to kind of see where things stand, and they have an opportunity to drive up the price on Ohtani at the very least, and to see what they might get if teams are bidding against each other for his services. If the Angels are not in a good playoff position on August 1st, then it makes no real sense to keep him unless you believe you have a legitimate chance to retain him beyond this season.
Ohtani is expected to sign a record contract in the offseason when he becomes a free agent. Sam Blum on if the Angels have a real chance at keeping him beyond 2023.
I think they probably feel like they have a shot. The question is, can Artie Moreno go over the luxury tax threshold, which he's going to be required to do in order to keep Ohtani realistically? They're going to need to be able to spend quite a bit amount of money, and that's just not something he's done. It's not something he's a track record of doing. Really, if you look back to when the lockout was kind of being worked out, Moreno was one of the few owners that was against raising that luxury tax. And I think a lot of that is because he views it as a salary cap in a lot of ways. So it's to see him now go over it would be somewhat surprising. He said in the past spring training, when I asked him about it, he said that he would be willing to go over it to spend on a player like Ohtani. But it's actions and words, and his actions kind of spoken otherwise.
So Ohtani is staying put, but what's next for the Angels? ESPN MLB reporter Alden Gonzalez joined SportsCenter.
To try to win, to try to augment this roster, to try to win this year. And look, the Angels, right before winning 6 of 7, they lost 11 out of 13 games. It seemed as if their season was slipping away. That's when the fervor around Shohei Ohtani being traded really picked up. But they recovered. They're getting Mike Trout back. They hope within the next 2 to 3 weeks. They need to add some pitching. They want to do that. Keep in mind, The Angels put their payroll at a franchise record of over $215 million going into this year. They gave up pitching prospects in early July because they needed infield depth to try to contend. They put so much into this season, partly because they haven't been in the playoffs in 9 years, partly because they want to show Shohei Ohtani that they can win around him, and ultimately they didn't feel like they should give up on that pursuit when they're still on the cusp of it.
Well, the Angels are already acting quickly. In the late hours of Wednesday night, they bolstered their rotation, acquiring Lucas Giolito from the Chicago White Sox. They also added reliever Reynaldo Lopez in the deal as well. So the Angels are not only buyers, they are already buying. Angels now with their sights set on the postseason will try and snap a 9-year playoff drought. That's tied for the longest no playoff stretch in baseball with the Detroit Tigers. Angels and Tigers rained out Wednesday. They will play 2 in Detroit today, with Ohtani scheduled to pitch the first game at 1:10 Eastern. Right now, the Angels looking up at both the Astros and Rangers in the American League West standings. Houston trying to sweep Texas and wiggle into a first-place tie in the division. Rangers might be going through a tough stretch, but they've still got the best offense in baseball.
The 1-1 pitch. Swinging a high drive, deep left field, sailing way out of here, onto the glass. Adolis Garcia, touch them all. Grand slam for Adolis, and the Rangers now lead it 13-3.
105.3 The Fan. Adolis Garcia with that grand slam takes the major league lead at 84 RBIs this season. It also ties a Rangers single-season record of 3 grand slams in the same year. Well, Garcia would take his time around the bases, and that would ignite some tempers to flare in H-Town.
We've got some jawing, and now we've got some guys clearing out of the dugouts. And how about this? The benches have cleared.
Benches have cleared, and the bullpens are being dumped. We've got a lot of people milling around home plate right now. The Rangers bullpen has arrived. The Astros bullpen shortly behind them, but nothing has happened here. But basically everyone in uniform is on the dirt circle after the Adolis Garcia grand slam.
105.3 The Fan once more. Marcus Semien of the Rangers, Martin Maldonado of the Astros were ejected as part of that dugout clearing brawl. Big night for the Rangers bats. They scored 10 or more runs for the 21st time this season, tied for their second most in a season in franchise history. Only the 2008 Rangers had more with 25. All over the Astros in Houston tonight, Texas 13-5 winners. They increased their lead to 2 games in the American League West. Well, from the Lone Star State to the Empire State, more rivalry baseball Wednesday between the Mets and Yankees from the Bronx. Aaron Judge wouldn't play in this one, but he's getting closer to a return. Here's Yankees manager Aaron Boone.
Is there a plan in place to activate Judge on Friday?
No. I wouldn't rule anything out, but, I think we're kind of taking it day by day and huddling up at the end of the day and seeing what the next steps are. But right now it's seeing how he came out of today and how that went and where we're at and if we need to keep doing more.
Judge last appeared June 3rd. Despite that, the Yankees just 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. They were up a run in the 4th. Anthony Volpe would help deliver another.
And that's a base hit. And that's because they were trying to pick off the runner at second, and Mendick was out of place. Volpe goes to second, scoring the Bader, and it's 3-1 Yanks.
Yes, Network the call. That would be plenty of run support for Yankees pitching. Carlos Rodon, 5 2/3 innings, just 1 run allowed. His first win in pinstripes. Yankees beat the Mets 3-1 to split the 2-game Subway Series. Up next, they visit the AL's best team, the Baltimore Orioles, this weekend. Number 99 might be back in the starting 9 for the Yankees. Well, right now, baseball's best team resides in the National League. They are the Atlanta Braves in Boston visiting the Red Sox. Atlanta would jump out to a 3-0 lead in the game, but Boston would bounce back in the 7th.
Pitch. Swinging a high fly ball into left field. Back at the track, at the wall, high off the wall. And the Red Sox are going to take the lead. Turner into second.
second base, standing. He catches some green, and it's 4-3 Boston.
WEEI 93.7 FM. Red Sox score 5 unanswered runs, hold the Braves' bats quiet late, and beat Atlanta for a second straight night. It's Boston's 4th straight victory, now just a game and a half behind the Blue Jays for the 3rd wild card slot in the American League. Here's what Justin Turner had to say post-game when he joined 10 p.m. Sports Center and Kevin Connors.
Justin, Spencer Strider looked untouchable, and then Devers gets to him in the 6th inning, and you put 2 on for you in the 7th inning against Johnson. What's your approach in that at-bat there in the 7th?
Yeah, just looking for something up that, I can drive to the pull side. And he started me off with a slider. I faced him a lot in the past, in the NL West, and, he's used a lot of curveballs against me. But he went to the slider tonight, back-to-back sliders, and got one up enough. I think the wind was blowing out when I hit that and helped it a little bit, but got enough of it to get off the wall and score 2 runs and give the boys the lead.
And there's been a lot of that from you this year. You're hitting .289. You're in the top 10 in the American League in runs batted in. How do you describe your transition after 9 years in the National League with the Dodgers?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the new place. It's absolutely awesome to play in Fenway every night. These fans are insane. They love their baseball. They're very knowledgeable, and we love our club. We got a good team, a great offense, and the pitching's been outstanding for us.
The Red Sox very much in the heat of the wild card race, as is everybody else in the American League East. The Baltimore Orioles are currently the top dog in the division. They visited the Philadelphia Phillies in a rubber match of a 3-game series Wednesday night. Game tied at 4 in the 7th. Philly loves Sosa.
0-2, hit well, right field. This one definitely has a chance. Santander at the wall, it's gone. Edmundo Sosa with an opposite field home run that unties the game here in the bottom of the 7th inning. His 7th of the year, and the Phillies are back in front 5-4.
Sports Radio 94 WIP. First career go-ahead home run in the 7th inning or later for Edmundo Sosa. Phillies take 2 of 3 and cool down the O's with a 6-4 victory on Wednesday. First place up for grabs in the NL Central. Brewers hosting the Reds. Just a half a game separating these teams coming into action Wednesday. Good starting pitching here. Freddie Peralta tossed 6 scoreless innings, punched out 13 for the Brew Crew. And this game was scoreless into the bottom of the 7th.
Lively kicks and delivers the pitch, and Tyrone a high drive. Left field, Benson back. Track, gone! Taylor with a 2-run shot, and the Brewers break the ice. It's 2-0 Crew here in the 7th.
Well, WTMJ, Tyrone Taylor is a Reds killer. Who knew? 6th career home run against Cincinnati, his most versus any major league team. Brewers shut out the Reds for a 4th time this season, 3-0 the final. A little breathing room for Milwaukee. They leap a game and a half up in the NL Central standings. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. It's presented by Progressive Insurance. Well, the New York Jets and their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, have agreed to a reworked contract. He's voluntarily reduced his salary by about $35 million over the next 2 seasons, a source said Wednesday. The 39-year-old Rodgers signed a 2-year, $75 million deal that's fully guaranteed. He was due to make close to $110 million in guarantees on his previous contract. This is an uncommonly large pay cut. An ESPN senior NFL insider, Adam Schefter, joined 6 p.m. Sports Center to weigh in.
This is a $35 million voluntary pay cut that Aaron Rodgers has offered to the Jets. It's a sign that he plans to play there the next 2 years, and he's giving back money for this team to be able to go make moves, other moves to improve the roster, to try to help this team get back to and win a Super Bowl. Obviously, he gave up a lot of control here by giving the cap leverage back to the New York Jets, but he also has made a lot of money in his career, and he didn't really care. He cared about giving the Jets the flexibility that they needed to go out and improve their roster, taking a quarterback deal well below market value right now. And this deal really has been agreed to for weeks. They're still waiting for Aaron Rodgers to sign off on it. As of right now, he has still not signed the deal. He could sign it as early as tonight. That's certainly possible, but this deal is going to get done. And when it gets done, it's going to save the Jets $35 million against the cap over the next 2 seasons.
Now, Rodgers hasn't completely committed to playing beyond this upcoming season, but expressed his desire on Wednesday to be a Jet for more than 1 year.
Definitely some of it is how much fun I'm having. It's all about the body, how the body feels. The team gave up significant pieces for it just to be a 1-year deal. I'm aware of that. I think there was an awareness of that. Now, again, anything can happen with my body or with the success we have this year. But I'm having a blast, so I don't really see this as a 1-year and done thing.
Now, the 4-time MVP, not the only NFL deal all but inked on Wednesday. The New York Giants signed left tackle Andrew Thomas to a record-setting contract just hours before the team's first training camp practice. Thomas' agent telling ESPN's Adam Schefter that the deal is for 5 years, $117.5 million, including $67 million guaranteed at signing. This is a record for an offensive lineman. Andrew Thomas has to be feeling good.
Like I said, it's a blessing, something I work hard for, and something I'm going to continue to work hard for to live up to that. It's a blessing for my family, my kids that I don't even have yet, but I'm excited for it and excited to be here for a while.
More on the New York Giants to come. Still ahead on SportsCenter all night. The U.S. women's national team challenged in the World Cup against the Netherlands. Plus, could the Pac-12 be losing another member? Conference realignment never sleeps, and neither do we. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
Yo, it's Jay Williams. Coming up Thursday, now that Justin Herbert got paid, has he become the quarterback in the AFC with the most pressure? Don't miss it. 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
All the hits. Your country music playlist.
More music, more fun.
Only the classic hits.
Radio has the power to transport you around the world. And now we've got a new way to discover new stations. Say hello to TuneIn Explorer, our map-based view that shows you where your favorite stations and podcasts broadcast from local faves to far-flung gems. It's the new way to blaze your own trail in listening. Ready to set out? Just click on the radio tab to plot your own course.
Wall Street Journal Radio is now streaming commercial-free on TuneIn Premium. From top-line morning briefings to afternoon deep dives on the markets, the economy, and more, invest in your day with WSJ Radio.
I'm J.R. Whalen for the Wall Street Journal.
Discover business news and analysis for the decisions that matter from sources you can trust. The Wall Street Journal, Barron's, MarketWatch, and Investors Business Daily.
50% of the S&P 500's performance.
Just upgrade to Premium to get your daily business news without the ads.
Now that's a vibe. TuneIn's curated chill station brings you nonstop good vibes from the best chill electronic artists and producers, so you can find your chill all day long. Think low-tempo remixes, laid-back takes on pop classics, and so much more. Just search chill on TuneIn to listen.
You already know that the TuneIn app lets you listen on the go. But did you know that you can listen to TuneIn in your car too? Take TuneIn on the road by staying connected with CarPlay, Android Auto, or Bluetooth. Plus, you can tap on the car icon from the home screen on your app for a simplified experience that's safer for the car. Shorten your commute with all your favorite audio on TuneIn.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour, the biographer of atomic scientist Robert Oppenheimer, the subject of Christopher Nolan's new film.
He feared that if the war ended without the use of this weapon,
The next war was going to be fought by two nuclear-armed adversaries, and it would be Armageddon.
Oppenheimer's biographer Kai Bird, next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour. Listen to this episode of the New Yorker Radio Hour on TuneIn today.
Wall Street Journal Radio is now on TuneIn. From top-line morning briefings to afternoon deep dives on the markets, the economy, and more, invest in your day with WSJ Radio.
I'm J.R. Whalen for the Wall Street Journal. Many workers have high expectations for raises.
Discover business news and analysis for the decisions that matter from sources you can trust. The Wall Street Journal, Barron's, MarketWatch, and Investors Business Daily. It's all here, now streaming on TuneIn. Search Wall Street Journal Radio on TuneIn to listen.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Buster Olney of the Baseball Tonight podcast, reminding you of TuneIn's
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
It is SportsCenter all night. Glad you're with us on ESPN Radio. I'm Chris Sylvester. Well, Women's World Cup action. The U.S. opened with a 3-0 victory over Vietnam, now facing a much tougher test in the Netherlands. This a rematch of the 2019 final. The Americans would trail 1-0 at the half, but Lindsey Heron would knock in an equalizer in the 62nd minute, and the match would end in a 1-1 draw. There's U.S. forward Julie Ertz postgame.
Obviously, we'll take the point. We know Netherlands is a really good side, and we knew it was going to be a battle for sure. But I think especially with the second half we have, we're a little disappointed that I don't think we put 1, 2, 3 in the net.
Now, neither team has secured a spot in the knockout round with one group match remaining. So how important was a draw compared to a loss for the U.S. on Wednesday? ESPN soccer reporter Sebastian Salazar.
Huge. A loss tonight would have been devastating to the chances of winning the group, and that's important to winning the whole tournament. So as they sit right now, they're still on top of the group with goal difference. They'll be huge favorites over Portugal in the group phase finale. Had they come in second in the group, the likelihood would be that in the knockout round, the first knockout round, they'd get one of their all-time boogeyman teams, Sweden, the team that knocked them out of the 2016 Olympics in the quarterfinal round. So I think the U.S. is keen to win this group and avoid the Swedes in the round of 16.
Both the Americans and the Dutch sit atop the Group E standings with a win and a draw, but the U.S. has the edge for the lead with more goals. How can the U.S. be better than they were against the Dutch? Sebastian Salazar again.
So I think one thing that was made crystal clear tonight is just how important Rose Lavelle is. She was nursing an injury coming into this tournament. They've been really kind of trying to bring her along slowly. They didn't start her today, and I think they saw when she came on at the halftime break the impact that she made. Whatever her fitness levels is, you got to put her out there. She's got to be a starter, and she's got to be a playmaker for this team from midfield. And the other big question mark, Linda, is up top. Alex Morgan hasn't scored yet. Trinity Rodman hasn't scored yet. There's a lot of firepower on this American bench. And the manager, Vlatko Andonovski, only used one sub tonight. I know American fans out there want to see more subs come off that bench. And I think there's a lot of talent there that could, give a boost to this U.S. attack.
Well, next up for the U.S. women's national team, a Group E tilt with Portugal next Tuesday at 3 a.m. Eastern. Set your alarms. Well, there may be another shakeup in conference realignment. USC and UCLA bolted from the Pac-12. They'll be headed to the Big Ten next summer. The Big 12's president and chancellors voted unanimously on a conference call to accept Colorado as a new member on Wednesday night. If Colorado is indeed on the way out of the Pac-12, what's it look like for the conference moving forward? ESPN college football analyst Paul Feinbaum.
This could be seismic, and I don't want to trash the Pac-12 any more than we already have, but you might as well just give them last rites if they lose Colorado, because right now Colorado has Dion, one of the most important names in college sports, and if they end up leaving, what are they going to do out there?
Colorado will get a taste of the Big 12 Week 1 at TCU. Still to come, more on the Angels' decision to keep Shohei Ohtani and a busy day around the diamond. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Greeny.
If being on Hard Knocks creates any problems for this team, then they were going to have them anyway. You are the most interesting team in the NFL, and the Jets should embrace that.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Volunteer to become a Citizens Independent Transportation Trust CITT ambassador. Share your Miami-Dade transit riding experiences via a mobile app and earn rewards. Apply today at miamidade.gov/CITT-ambassador.
TuneIn is the audio platform with something for everyone. News.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to a Sky News special program on the coronation where you can have
sports.
Alexander-Arnold.
Music. And even podcasts.
Who knows what's going to happen with this podcast? Yeah, and it's Ben's fault.
Whatever you love, hear it right here on TuneIn. And be sure to ask your smart devices to play TuneIn.
This is Buster Olney of the Baseball Tonight podcast, reminding you of TuneIn's continued baseball season coverage.
Now swing. Line drive, base hit, right center field.
As the pennant race heats up, TuneIn is here to take you out to the ballgame with live play-by-play of every Major League game.
Back, looking up, it's gone!
All the way through the World Series. Plus, be sure to listen to my podcast between games as I break down the latest from around the league. Search MLB to get in the game.
Are you looking for the latest breaking news from around the UK and Ireland?
Fishing boat with 400 on board, taking on water, out of...
Look no further than Sky News on TuneIn.
This is Sky News. Coming up, new details are released about plans for the King's coronation.
Keep up with the biggest headlines as soon as they break, with around-the-clock coverage from trusted reporters and correspondents.
No response to Sky News from Maltese authorities, but finally...
Sky News, non-stop news from around the world.
There's nothing like the sound of the ballpark.
Fly ball deep right field. Oh, did he hammer that?
And this season, you can listen live right on TuneIn Premium. That's right, every single game of the MLB season is now available.
That ball is gone!
From now to the World Series.
Track, hit the wall, Pena's done it again!
Upgrade to TuneIn Premium today to follow your favorite team all season long. Just search Premium to play ball.
People get my tremor, but they don't see all the other symptoms. The fatigue, the apathy, the low mood, the anxiety. It's all part of Parkinson's. It's like a collective weight, like someone is standing over me, pushing down on my shoulders, when all I want is to get up, to get out, and to get moving.
Parkinson's is the fastest growing neurological condition in the world. But at Parkinson's UK, we can find a cure. Find out how you can help at parkinsons.org.uk.
Have you thought about fostering? Having a loving foster carer makes such a positive difference to a child's life and gives them the chance to have a happy and safe childhood. It's a big decision, but Bernardo's will be there to support you every step of the way, from the moment you inquire to find out more, to the day you welcome your first foster child into your family, and beyond. To find out how you can be a loving family for a child when they need one the most, visit bernardos.org.uk/foster. Bernardo's, believe in children.
There's nobody like me. I've got two sides. It feels like two lives. I don't think anyone's loved both of them like me. I live with bipolar. Bipolar is my G. After 15 years, I was diagnosed with it finally. I blacked out. Episodes turned into seasons. I didn't want to be here. I couldn't find a reason. Until I found a reason. Because there's nobody like me.
Rohan's story, spoken by George. If this speaks to you, speak to us. Search Mind Speak to Us.
You already know that the TuneIn app lets you listen on the go. But did you know that you can listen to TuneIn in your car too? Take TuneIn on the road by staying connected with CarPlay, Android Auto, or Bluetooth. Plus, you can tap on the car icon from the home screen on your app for a simplified experience that's safe.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Well, welcome back to SportsCenter all night. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter all night.
Oh, we've got a draw at the Women's World Cup. The U.S. and Netherlands finish at a 1-1 tie. Colorado is reportedly on the move. The Buffaloes are finalizing a move back to the Big 12 from the Pac-12. And the Angels are going for it in 2023. They acquired Lucas Giolito from the White Sox, and they will not be dealing Shohei Ohtani before next week's trade deadline.
Shohei Ohtani not going anywhere. The Angels and pulling Ohtani off the trade market.
To trade this guy with 2 months left before his free agency, I think ultimately deciding not to do so, I think it was probably a combination of the team having won 6 of its last 7 games, still being in contention. I think it's also maybe not being very impressed by what they would have potentially got back for him. But I think ultimately it's the fact that they want to make the playoffs this year.
Oh, the Angels put all the speculation to bed on Wednesday. Shohei Ohtani isn't going anywhere, at least not at the trade deadline next week. The ESPN MLB reporter, Alden Gonzalez, on why the Halos are keeping the AL MVP favorite.
I think it was probably a combination of the team having won 6 of its last 7 games, still being in contention. I think it's also maybe not being very impressed by what they would have potentially got back for him. But I think ultimately it's the fact that they want to make the playoffs this year. They feel like Shohei Ohtani gives them the best chance to do it. And a lot of people believe that Artie Moreno wants to sign him as a free agent. The Angels would have no chance to sign Shohei Ohtani as a free agent if they were to trade him right now.
Well, still 6 games to be played for the Angels before next week's trade deadline. An interesting time for the Angels to make this decision. Angels athletic reporter Sam Blum thinks the call came from ownership.
This is probably coming directly from Artie Moreno, especially given the source of the reporting, being Tom Verducci, is someone who's written a lot about Moreno, had, exclusive access to him over the spring training and stuff like that. So, it's, it leads me to believe that, Artie Moreno is kind of making this decision. Not that should be a surprise to anyone, but, it's a little bit confusing, to be honest with you.
Regardless of who made the decision, the Ohtani jersey swaps will cool off until the winter when he hits the market as a free agent. Ohtani pitches the first of 2 games against the Tigers later on today in the Motor City. Angels behind the Rangers and Astros in the AL West. Another big night for the Texas Bats.
As Sam Huff takes a hack at the first pitch here and sends it over the Crawford boxes, almost up onto the glass. Sam Huff cranks one out of the yard and extends the Ranger lead to 7-3 for Huff, his first home run of 2023.
And he absolutely hammered that.
105.3 The Fan. Rangers explode for 13 runs. They beat up on the Astros 13-5 to stay in sole possession of the top spot in the AL West. The Yankees got the better of their Subway Series rival New York Mets on Wednesday. 3-1 the final from the Bronx. Aaron Judge nearing his return. Here's Aaron Boone on the Yankees' outlook.
What's your message to the team going into this division fight?
Oh, man, we're let's go, baby. They know that we understand where we're at. We're getting down to the final couple months. We understand how important these games are and how important these series are. And it's also the fun part of it.
Yankees in the wild card hunt, despite being last in the AL East. The Red Sox are all of a sudden the division's hottest team. They beat the Braves Wednesday to stretch their winning streak to 4 games. But how can they leap past the teams ahead of them in the wild card race? ESPN MLB analyst Eduardo Perez has an idea.
All right, so if I start with Boston, I have to go on the mound. And one of the big reasons is they have three guys right now that are big guys that are on the IL, soon to be coming back. Chris Sale, Tanner Houck are two of the main guys to be coming back, but you need a guy that has been there before. And Lance Lynn is that guy for the Chicago White Sox. To me, he has done it. He has been there. He understands what postseason is all about. And Lance Lynn, who had signed a 2-year, $38 million deal with the Chicago White Sox, becomes a free agent after this year. To me, he is the perfect guy to go into a clubhouse and be able to understand how to pitch in October. Lance Lynn would be my guy.
Well, as it stands, the Red Sox trailed the Blue Jays by a game and a half for that third wild card spot. Toronto and Los Angeles Wednesday afternoon visiting the Dodgers. And there's no Marine layer during day baseball at Chavez Ravine.
So now he's today 0 for 1 with an RBI. 0-2 pitch is cranked to left field. Taylor going back. A 3-run home run for Whit Merrifield. 5-0 Blue Jays on Merrifield's 7th blast of the year.
Sportsnet 590, The Fan. Whit Merrifield with his 5th home run this month. He had 2 all season entering July. Jays cruise to a 9-1 win over the Dodgers. They take 2 of 3 in L.A. Day baseball in San Diego Wednesday. The Padres hosting the Pirates.
And the pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right field, deep, Tatis back, warning track, gone. Home run, Carlos Santana. His 3rd homer of the series, and a big insurance run for the Pirates. It's 3-1 in the 9th.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The long ball was getting it done for the Buccos. 3 solo shots power Pittsburgh to a 3-2 win in San Diego. Cardinals in the desert taking on the D-backs Wednesday. It's been a tough season for St. Louis, but Nolan Gorman has been a bright spot.
The pitch is swung on, and there's a high towering fly ball straight away center field. And this ball is high off the wall, in fact, over the line for a home run. A 2nd home run today for Nolan Gorman. So the Cardinals get 2 on one swing and lead 8-4.
Cardinals Radio Network, 3rd multi-homer game of the season for Gorman. He only had 1 in his career prior to 2023. Cardinals outslugged the Snakes 11-7 in Phoenix. A couple of AL contenders squaring off in the Twin Cities Wednesday afternoon. Rubber game of a 3-game set. Mariners at the Twins. Dylan Moore providing muscle for Seattle.
Here's the pitch. He swings and hammers this high. Left center field. A rising tee shot. Gone to the back of the bullpen. Dylan Moore unloads. It's a 3-run bomb. And the Mariners do extend the lead. They do get some breathing room. It's 7-3 Mariners in the top of the 5th inning.
Seattle Sports, 7:10 a.m. Dylan Moore's first career multi-home run game. Mariners eke one out in Minnesota, 8-7 over the AL Central leading Twins. Guardians trying to chase down the Twins for the top spot in the AL Central. A chance to pick up a game on Minnesota as they hosted Kansas City Wednesday. And, I mean, if everybody else is hitting multiple home runs on Wednesday, Jose Ramirez wants in on it too.
Pitch to him, and he swings and drives one. Right center field, it's hit well, and it is a home run. Jose Ramirez. He just cleared the wall in right center for his 2nd home run on the day. Number 16 on the season. 5-0 Cleveland.
WTAM 1100 had the call. 22nd career multi-homer game for Jose Ramirez. Guardians 8-3 over the Royals. Northsiders and Southsiders locking horns Wednesday. Cubs at the White Sox. Cubbies go back-to-back for some late insurance.
And the pitch. A swing and a high drive. Deep right field. Get out the tape measure. Long gone. I said he was due. And he clobbers one way up into the seats in right. Cubs go back-to-back for the 2nd straight night. And now they lead by 3 here in the 8th inning, 10-7.
Cubs Radio Network. Cubs go back-to-back for the 2nd straight game. They beat the White Sox 10-7. For Cody Bellinger, whose name has been tossed around in rumors lately, He hits his 8th home run since July 6th, tied with Manny Machado for the most in Major League Baseball in that span. White Sox have had a tough season. They are selling at the deadline. After the game, they shipped Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez to the Angels for a couple minor leaguers. Here's what White Sox GM Rick Hahn had to say about the deal.
Obviously, we're announcing a trade tonight with Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez going to the Angels. I'm going to start with our players, and I'll talk a little bit about what we acquired and our excitement about that. Quite frankly, it was a mildly emotional conversation with Lucas a few moments ago, informing him of the trade. Obviously, given this club's performance over the course of the last several months, it's apparent that these type of moves have to take place given where we're at and putting us in the best position we can be going forward.
Lucas Giolito, not the only well-known name traded on Wednesday. The Marlins swapped a couple of relievers, Dylan Floro to the Twins in exchange for Jorge Lopez. The Dodgers acquired Amed Rosario from the Cleveland Guardians for Noah Syndergaard. Both of Florida's baseball teams are over 500 and very much contending. Marlins at the Rays Wednesday afternoon. Story here was last year's NL Cy Young Award winner Sandy Alcantara figuring some things out, and he'd get some early run support too.
Pitch to De La Cruz as a rocket. Deep to left field. Forget about it. That thing is 10 rows deep. De La Cruz is 13th bomb of the season. He rudely greets Calvin Fauché here in the 5th. It's 6-1 Miami.
940 WINZ. Fish wins 7-1 behind a complete game from Sandy Alcantara. The Marlins hoping to pick up some ground on the San Francisco Giants in the NL wildcard race. Bay Bridge Series action with the A's in town.
Swing. There's a shot in the left field. Hit well. Still going. Adios, Pelota. A streak of lightning that landed in the bleachers. A line shot. And the big question was, would it stay airborne long enough? And it did. The Giants are back ahead 5-3.
John Miller, KNBR. Giants pull away late in this one. 8-3 winners over the A's. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio and the app. Chris Sylvester with you. From the San Francisco Giants to the New York Giants, things are starting to fall into place for the upcoming season, including the return of Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones will flank the All-Pro tailback once again this fall, and he's excited to have Barkley back.
Obviously thrilled to have him back. It was a tough situation for him, and I'm glad we got it worked out. But he's an incredible leader on this team. He's an incredible player and means so much to this group. So yeah, it's huge to get him back.
Well, the market has not been all that kind to running backs this offseason. Steelers tailback Najee Harris on the treatment of other guys like Saquon at his position.
Saquon accumulated for almost 30% of the offense. Like, why can't you look at that and say, okay, well, he said he's not trying to break the market or set the market, but he's trying to get compensated of what he thinks is fair, which two parties should think is fair too. And I think that, I know that they know themselves that ain't fair, like what he's getting. He wanted a long contract to know his security in there. Right now, he doesn't have no security. Right now, they're just going to probably utilize him the same way. If something happens in the game, they're going to probably look somewhere else. But it's like, man, what is the security that we have? We don't have no security right now. You guys are using us to accomplish what you guys want. And then when it's time for us to re-up or ask for something that we think is right, you guys just turn the cheek and say, well, you have wear and tear. It's like, come on now, bro.
The dialogue has stayed strong on running backs in the days leading up to August, including Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay taking to Twitter Wednesday night. Irsay on social media saying, quote, "We have negotiated a CBA that took years of effort and hard work and compromise and good faith by both sides. To say now that a specific player category wants another negotiation after the fact is inappropriate. Some agents are selling, quote, bad faith." Now, that post didn't receive much positive publicity. Q Myers and Freddie and Fitzsimmons doesn't think it's the right move.
That's bad business right there from Jim Irsay. I mean, that's one of those areas where really as the owner, man, just stay out of that. Stay out of that conversation. It's not like really he could have played the role of saying, hey, this is not anything I'm in control of. Right. I mean, this is what the market is saying. This is just how it's paid. We respect the position. We know how important it is. We have a Hall of Famer that, oh, by the way, at some point in the franchise's history, he had the franchise tag and had to get a little bit of sugar put on top like Saquon Barkley did to be able to get that deal done, talking about Edger and James. And, he could have been good with that, knowing that Jonathan Taylor is one hell of a running back. He's going to want a contract extension, and there's a reason why he's not participating in the camp right now. And more likely than not, it has nothing to do with injury. It has to do with the salary. So bad business by Jim Irsay. And again, it doesn't surprise me because so many times Jim Irsay has made some bad decisions.
Well, you have to think the Colts' top offensive weapon, the aforementioned Jonathan Taylor, is due for a big deal soon. Speaking of big deals, Justin Herbert just inked a 5-year, $262.5 million deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. And he's pretty happy about it. I mean, wouldn't you be happy with 262.5 M's?
I've never wanted to be anywhere else. This is where I've wanted to be for as long as I've been born and playing football. So it's a dream come true, and just really excited to be back out there with the team today. I feel free and just excited to go play football, and that's the biggest focus right now is just football. And I don't have to worry about anything else. And I'm exactly where I need to be with this team, and we've got the right guys in that locker room. So this offseason was a lot of fun with them, and just looking forward to this camp and upcoming football season.
Joe Burrow, the next young star quarterback, expected to sign a big deal. Well, still to come, Wednesday's top sounds on SportsCenter all night. This is ESPN Radio.
Yo, it's Jay Williams. Coming up on Thursday, we continue our ESPN Radio two-a-days with the Saints. What will Derek Carr do for the Saints offense this season? And are they the team to beat in the division? 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and ESPNU.
ESPN Radio SportsCenter all night. More next.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
There's nobody like me. I've got two sides. It feels like two lives. I don't think anyone's loved both of them like me. I live with bipolar. Bipolar is my G. After 15 years, I was diagnosed with it finally. I blacked out. Episodes turned into seasons. I didn't want to be here. I couldn't find a reason. Until I found a reason. Because there's nobody like me.
Rohan's story, spoken by George. If this speaks to you, speak to us. Search Mind Speak to Us.
Instead of fly ball to left back, onto the track.
Hey, baseball fans, this is Buster Olney of the Baseball Tonight podcast. The MLB season is now playing on TuneIn Premium, featuring live home calls of every Major League Baseball team. Only TuneIn Premium gives you access to blackout-free coverage, at home or on the road, from walk-off home runs to no-hitters.
He's done it, folks! The 8th no-hitter in history!
All the way through the World Series. Search MLB to start listening.
Find your vibe with Nation Broadcasting. They play the best music. Immerse yourself into a wide range of music genres, like Nation 90s.
I hope you had the time of your life.
All I wanna do is have some fun.
Nation Love.
Give me the best of your love.
Nation New. Search Nation on TuneIn to start listening.
If you love sports, then you've got to upgrade to TuneIn Premium. It's your ticket to top play-by-play from the biggest leagues.
Yes!
We're talking MLB, NHL, and live motorsports.
And that one's hit well, deep into left field, and Alvarez has done it again!
Plus, you can listen to TalkSport to keep up with the Premier League and more. Stay competitive on your fandom with TuneIn Premium. Upgrade now to get in the game. You already know that the TuneIn app lets you listen on the go. But did you know that you can listen to TuneIn in your car too? Take TuneIn on the road by staying connected with CarPlay, Android Auto, or Bluetooth. Plus, you can tap on the car icon from the home screen on your app for a simplified experience that's safer for the car. Shorten your commute with all your favorite audio on TuneIn.
People get my tremor, but they don't see all the other symptoms. The fatigue, the
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Well, thanks for staying up all night with us. This is SportsCenter all night. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Chris Sylvester. Glad you're with us. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Here's Wednesday's Top Sounds with Kevin Winter.
Number 4.
Chris, let's begin at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia. The Phillies and the Orioles wrapping up their 3-game series. Philly trying to win the series. They were tied with Baltimore at 4-4 in the 7th, but then they were no longer tied. The call from Sports Radio 94 WIP.
0-2, hit well, right field. This one definitely has a chance. Santander at the wall, it's gone. Edmundo Sosa with an opposite field home run that unties the game here in the bottom of the 7th inning. His 7th of the year, and the Phillies are back in front 5-4.
Number 3.
Chris, the Blue Jays finished up their series in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, and oh my goodness, what a shellacking Toronto put on Los Angeles. The call from Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
So now he's today 0 for 1 with an RBI. 0-2 pitch is cranked to left field. Taylor going back. A 3-run home run for Whit Merrifield. 5-0 Blue Jays on Merrifield's 7th blast of the year.
Number 2.
Chris, the Red Sox somehow playing way above their heads this season, finishing up a brave 2-game stint at Fenway with the Atlanta Braves, the best team in baseball. Braves are up 3-0, and then it's 3-1, then it's 3-2 with Justin Turner at the plate and 2 aboard for Will Fleming in the 7th inning on Sports Radio 93.7 FM WEEI.
Pitch. Swinging a high fly ball into left field, back at the track, at the wall, high off the wall, and the Red Sox are going to take the lead. Turner into second base, standing, he catches some green, and it's 4-3 Boston.
Number 1.
And Chris, we closed it out with the Astros and the Rangers. Houston gets Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez off the IL. That worked out well for the bottom of the 1st inning. Houston scores 3. And then the rest of the night belonged to the Rangers, including this one swing of the bat by Adolis Garcia from Matt Hicks on 105.3, The Fan of the 5th. And after this one, things got interesting.
The 1-1 pitch. Swinging a high drive, deep left field, sailing way out of here, onto the glass. Adolis Garcia, touch them all. Grand slam for Adolis, and the Rangers now lead it 13-3.
Well, great moments from Wednesday's slate. More to come as we dive into the schedule ahead today. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio and the app. Well, quarterbacks are getting paid. Linemen are getting paid. Let's not forget about hoops. Jaylen Brown is in Boston for the foreseeable future. He inked a Supermax, 5 years, $304 million, and he puts to bed any of the noise that he's not happy in Boston. Here's Brown on his plans for the community.
I want to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston. I want to attack the wealth disparity here. I think there's analytics that supports that, stimulating the wealth gap could actually be something that could be betterment for the entire economy. With the biggest financial deal in NBA history, it makes sense to talk about 1, your investment in community, but 2, also, the wealth disparity here that nobody wants to talk about. It's top 5 in the U.S. It's something that we can all improve on. It's unsettling. And I think through my platform, through influential partners, through selected leaders, government officials, a lot who are in this room, that we can come together and create new jobs, new resources, new businesses, new ideas that could, highlight minorities, but also stimulate the economy and the wealth gap at the same time.
Well, Boston has to feel good about its young core moving forward with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum locked up in the backcourt for years to come. Hey, more to come, still to come here on SportsCenter all night. The Angels are buying at the trade deadline. Shohei Ohtani is staying put. Plus, we'll give you an update on Aaron Judge and the latest from Aaron Rodgers' new contract restructure. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
Yo, it's Jay Williams. Coming up on Thursday, is there a world where Kirk Cousins and Tua are top 10 QBs? I'll tell you who thinks they are. Don't miss it. 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and ESPNU.
The top headlines are next on SportsCenter All Night.
Next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour, the biographer of atomic scientist Robert Oppenheimer, the subject of Christopher Nolan's new film.
He feared that if the war ended without the use of this weapon, the next war was going to be fought by two nuclear-armed adversaries, and it would be Armageddon.
Oppenheimer's biographer Kai Bird, next time on the New Yorker Radio Hour. Listen to this episode of the New Yorker Radio Hour on TuneIn today.
I'm World Cup champion Megan Klingenberg. Wondering who you should root for at the FIFA Women's World Cup? I'm hosting a new podcast, My New Favorite Futbolista, where I will introduce you to soccer's brightest stars and the causes they are championing. From the 22-year-old American phenom speaking out about student-athlete mental health,
I try to just approach everything with you don't know what someone's going through,
to the U.S. defender who travels to tournaments with her young son.
Am I ever going to be able to run for 5 minutes straight?
Listen to My New Favorite Futbolista.
2024 is coming, and the race for the White House is already underway. Get the latest news from the team you trust, such as CNN.
We are not in that ballpark. 219th, 216th, leading right now.
Fox News Radio.
You could take the 5 worst presidents. They would not have done the damage.
MSNBC.
12 million new jobs. More jobs in 2 years than any president created in a 4-year term.
And more, with the facts you won't hear anywhere else. Hear the news you trust on TuneIn.
Baseball fans, it's that time of the year again. The weather is getting warmer, and the boys of summer are taking the field. And if you're a fan of the MLB, you're in luck, because TuneIn is bringing you live coverage of every game. That's right. With TuneIn, you'll never miss a pitch, a hit, or a run. Whether you're at home, at work, or on the go, you can follow your favorite teams and players in real time. Search MLB or tell your device to play your favorite team on TuneIn to get in the game.
If you're a country fan, then you love the classics. TuneIn's Vintage Country Station brings you the best tracks from countries past. And with TuneIn Premium, you can go commercial-free to keep the songs coming. That means you'll be listening to Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, Patsy Cline, and the rest of your favorites, without commercials. It's the greatest songs in country music history, nonstop, every day. Just upgrade to TuneIn Premium today to get started.
The great symphonies and the most moving chamber compositions are all on TuneIn Sounds of the Symphony Station. Listen to the world's sweeping masterworks, from the greats like Mozart, Beethoven, and so much more on all your devices so you can stay focused and get lost in your favorite compositions. Just search Sounds of the Symphony on TuneIn to listen.
Did you know you can use AirPlay and Chromecast to listen on connected devices? Tap on the device icon from the Now Playing screen on the TuneIn app and listen to all your favorite stations like Today's Hits, Latin Hits, Country Roads, and more.
I smell sexy, candy, yeah.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone. That should do it. Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.